Tony DiMacchia interview with Lieutenant Morris. Let's see if Tony DiMacchia's interview coincides with what the mayor said. Here's an email from the mayor that we have. September 15th, 2024. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the right one. September 13th, 2024, from Mayor Jack Bradley, City of Lorraine, to Bob Gargas. Bob, I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. My attention was not focused on Mr. Petty, although I do recall him walking behind me. That would be the extent of my statement. Thank you, Mayor. You're going to be deposed. Now let's listen to Tony DiMacchia.
And okay, the date is July 2nd. It is 2:54 p.m. Lieutenant Morris, Lorraine Police Department, on the phone with Councilman Anthony DiMacchia. Mr. DiMacchia, Councilman DiMacchia, was present yesterday for an incident that occurred between Mr. Garen Petty and Brianna Dull. Mr. DiMacchia, Councilman, I'm just wanting to ask you a couple of details, if you can kind of fill me in. I'm investigating potential criminal misconduct here, and I just kind of want to gather your thoughts on what you saw. I may stop you as you're kind of explaining to me what happened yesterday at the very conclusion of the council meeting, just to ask you to clarify something. But if you can, just kind of walk me through what happened between Mrs. Dull and Mr. Petty.
So after the meeting had concluded yesterday evening, I had been gathering my belongings, getting my computer, and I was standing by my desk, and my attention was immediately drawn to somebody yelling. And I wasn't sure what it was, so I had looked up, and I observed Mr. Petty advancing towards who I now know is our clerk, Brianna Dahl, and he was yelling in an aggressive manner.
Have a good evening.
Test.
Approaching her aggressively and throwing his arms around, and I couldn't really make out what he was saying or what he was yelling about. But as I observed it, I started moving towards that direction.
Remember, Tony DiMacchia sits right here. Let's back this up 10 more seconds. Support. Please vote.
Mr. Wall, thank you. The motion carries with one dissenting.
The motion carried. But DiMacchia didn't want the meeting to end. He voted against it.
Vote from Mr. DiMacchia.
He voted no. Let's see, DiMacchia. I'm walking here. Thank you. Have a good evening. I don't say nothing until I'm looking right at the mayor. What's DiMacchia doing over here? Ray, carry on. What is Brianna doing? He said she was scared to death. Brianna's not paying attention to me. DiMacchia's over here looking at his thing over here to turn his mic on and off. Springowski's picking up her luggage there that she said she had a back problem. She wasn't allowed to pick nothing up. Brianna's not looking at me. I'm trying to talk to the mayor. Joel's yelling at me. I'm not looking at Brianna. Right? Brianna's not looking. DiMacchia is not over here. He hasn't raced over there to Ray Carrion. Springowski said she was back there.
And in watching, I could tell on his face that he was agitated and very aggressive. And when I looked at Miss Dahl, I could tell that she had this look of fear.
Miss Dahl had a look of fear? Where's her look of fear at? Let's back this up 10 seconds. Let's see how much fear she has.
Mr. DiMacchia, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening. Where's the fear look? Huh? He's smiling. None of these people are in fear of anything. The mayor's just standing there. Other people said I was behind where the mayor sits. I see his chair there. I'm not over there.
Shock, like what is going on type thing. And I immediately looked at Mr. Carrion and grabbed his arm and said, hey, get this guy away from her and get him out of here.
Brianna had a shocked look on her face.
Mr. DiMacchia, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening. Where the heck is DiMacchia at? He's still over here. He grabbed Ray Carrion's arm while I was right there, when I was walking up there. Springowski said she raced from her chair with high heels on past Ray Carrion. None of these people are in this video from the city. They've created lies. I'm pointing at the mayor. Jack knows I'm pointing at him. Remember, Jack said, what did the mayor say here? Let's make sure we get this correct here. Mayor Bradley's statement on a city website, on a city email. September 13th. Bob Gargas request for your affidavit on the conduct you personally observed at the conclusion of the Lorain City Council meeting dated 7/1. Bob, I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. My attention was not focused on Mr. Petty, although I do recall him walking behind me. Well, how did he recall that in his dreams? You dreaming about me, Jack? That would be the extent of my statement. How does these other people that are 20, 30 feet away observe something completely different from the mayor, who is about a foot away? Let's watch.
The motion carries with one dissenting vote from Mr. DiMacchia. You're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening. I want to make this clear. Huh? And they never did let me finish. Joel told me to get out of there.
Because he was behind where no public should be, and it's posted no public beyond this point. And he was so far deep into our chamber that he was standing behind where Mayor Bradley is, which is relatively close to where Brianna Dahl.
I'm standing behind where Mayor Bradley is. All right.
Mr. Wall.
Let's watch Mr. Bradley stand up and push his chair straight back.
Oh, thank you. The motion carries with one dissenting vote from Mr. DiMacchia. You're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening. Brianna's not paying attention. Carissa Whitetalk was never interviewed. Mayor Bradley was never interviewed by Morris. Mayor Bradley standing right there. I have to, how long was my arm to reach Brianna Doe? I don't know. They said I could reach her. She's not paying attention. You know? These people, they don't even believe their own
Mr.
stories.
DiMacchia,
I mean, they believe their own stories they make up in their mind. And we're going to show in court where it's all a conspiracy with Nutt, Springowski, Joel, and Brianna. Morris told the judge that nobody knows what I said. Nobody was threatened. There was no threatening words. Yet DiMacchia is creating all this.
Have a good evening.
I don't even walk up. I stop before I even get 2 feet from the mayor. I'm not even in his personal space. Yet Brianna Dole's scared to death? Huh? Look at that. There's the 7:27 second mark. It goes to the 31 mark. 4 more seconds. Brianna's not scared about not running out of there or nothing. How come? Let's go back to DiMacchia and his lies.
Was standing, and I could tell she was trying to frantically grab her things, and she immediately, once I think he realized.
Let's back this up here.
And I could tell she was behind where no public should be, and it's posted no public beyond this point. And he was so far deep into our chamber that he was standing behind where Mayor Bradley is, which is relatively close to where Brianna Doll was standing. And I could tell
Brianna Doll was standing, he said. Let's see. When does Brianna Doll start standing?
One dissenting vote from Mr. DiMacchia.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I'm right there looking at the mayor trying to talk to him. He turned away. Brianna Doll's not standing. DiMacchia said she was standing. She's not paying attention. Yeah. Everybody's happy. He's smiling happy like everything is going on. And behind here where I'm holding this is a Sheffield Lake police officer who was a council member. DiMacchia said there was no police there. Well, Antonio Baez is a cop. Doesn't he recognize Antonio Baez? Why not?
trying to frantically grab her things, and she immediately, once I think he realized that some people drawn their attention to the situation, he started then, by the time I got over that way, he started to work his way out of the council chamber. So, by the time I went to go check on Miss Dahl, I looked to see where he was at, and I didn't see him again. But I could tell that.
Mary Springowski's video shows you looking right at me out in the audience. While you were still in there with Don Zaleski and Jack Bradley and Pat Riley, Tony DiMacchia, you were on the phone. Yet you said you ran back here to help Brianna. Why were you still in the council chambers? I got video of that too. August 25th is your deposition.
Miss Dahl was really swayed. She was normally she'd hang out because when FBI she doesn't really rush people out. But while standing in office, I could tell she was frantic and trying to gather her things. And I told her, "Let's go home." I'm in the chamber, and Councilman Nutt was standing there, and he also what's happened. And at that time, Mel got her things together finally, and Mr. Nutt walked her out the back side door as opposed to the front door to her vehicle and got her out of there safely.
And we're going to ask you what direct time that was. What time was that Nutt walked her out? Nut, I think you said Pam Carter walked her out, Nut, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. We got all your shit. Nut, DiMacchia, Springowski, Morris, even the cop Morris lied. He broke Brady law. He lied to the judge. Said I was way in there before they gavelled the meeting. The meeting is over once she said the motion carries. You cops don't even know the fucking laws in Ohio. You make up shit as you go, and you got your phony non-sworn prosecutors that believe that shit. And you tell the judge, and the judge, he don't follow up with nothing. You know, that's why I expose y'all. Y'all a bunch of liars.
Okay, now, you said you gathered your computer and some of your paperwork and your attention was drawn to somebody yelling. Where were you and where was the situation? Like, I obviously the situation was developing over by where Mrs. Dahl was sitting, but where were you in relation to that?
So my seat sits opposite of Miss Dahl.
Okay.
Inside the middle chamber, but it's kind of an island where counsel at large sits. It was behind my seat because I put my computer bag behind my seat, and that's where I gather my stuff up from my desk, and I was standing there.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that the fact that my attention drew to, there was a lot going on. There was other people talking. I wasn't really focused on anything but getting my stuff together. But, I mean, clearly I heard him in a loud manner, aggressively, talking to her.
But you never heard a word. You can't say one word I said, though, can you? The video says, let me make this clear. You couldn't hear that? DiMacchia? Or were you too busy trying to get out of there to write a letter to the chief of police? Remember, we got that too.
Or at her, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And, I'm looking at a video. I know you can't see it, but I'm looking at a video of where you were seated in relation to where Mrs. Dahl was seated. So I'm getting kind of an understanding of the distance there. So it does look like a pretty considerable distance.
Correct.
Now you mentioned that you could see him yelling at least in her direction, and that your attention was drawn to that. And was he like moving towards her, or was he standing still?
No, he was moving towards her. When I first got a glimpse of it, he was in front of Mayor Bradley's desk when I first started witnessing it and wondering what was going on. And by the time I got Mr. Carrion's attention, he was behind where Mayor Bradley sits.
Well, let's go back to see this now.
Mr. DiMacchia, your situation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
First, he says I was in front of the mayor's desk. And by the time he got over to Ray Carrion, I was behind where the mayor sits. I'm standing still. The mayor's chair is pushed back. So how did I get behind the mayor? How did I get behind where the mayor sits?
Which is, like I said, within arm's length, if you will, of where Brianna Dahl sits.
So
let's see this, within arm's length. All right, let's see.
From Mr. DiMacchia, your situation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
How long is my arm there, Tony DiMacchia? Huh? How long is my arm? I'm within arm's length of Brianna.
So that was kind of going to be one of my next questions here. I see there's not a lot of space where Brianna sits. Was he within the distance to be able to punch her or strike her?
Yeah, I think so. He's a big man.
I was close enough to punch her. He just said yes.
DiMacchia, your situation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
How I can punch her from there, right, Tony DiMacchia? Right, Lieutenant Morris? I can punch her?
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I mean, I could reach over her desk if I stood there, and he's significantly bigger than me. So
Yeah.
You could reach over her desk where I was standing by the mayor? Your arms are longer than mine, and you're saying I'm significantly bigger than you. I think you're just a liar.
I think he could if he really wanted to.
Was she seated at the desk when you saw this, or was she already up and?
Yeah, she was standing, leaning over. She might have been signing the documents because she handles all the legislation after it's done and makes sure everyone signs it.
Okay.
So she might have been gathering her.
She was standing, he said. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening.
When did she stand up, Tony? When did she stand up? She was standing there, he said.
I don't know specifically what she was doing, but she was standing, leaning, her top part of her body, torso and head over.
She was leaning, standing and leaning. Let's see. When does she stand up, Tony? Remember, this is the time. It ends at 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 31 seconds. And I got pictures of it down to the second. And I got Lieutenant Morris's statement down to the second, where I didn't even enter that until after the meeting adjourned. We got it all on the second, right to the second. You guys are all liars.
Mr. DiMacchia, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening.
When did she stand up, Tony?
For that desk where she sits.
Okay, so alrighty.
Organizing her files, maybe.
Yeah, and you mentioned that she looked. I think you said. I think you used the word shocked. Can you just expound a little bit on that? Like what you mean by she looked shocked? I mean, she was standing there. Obviously, things kind of happening fast. So I.
All right, now Morris said she was standing there. Let's see if she ever stands up.
Yeah, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Where's the shocked look on her face? She's looking down there. I think Springowski might have said she was petrified. Where is she standing? Where is she shocked? Morris said she's standing. Tony DiMacchia said she's standing.
I get that, but like, was it a look on her face? Was it? Was she flinching?
That's what kind of upset me a little bit because it was a scared, stunned look, like not obviously she wasn't expecting that sort of response from anybody.
Yeah.
She has a stunned look on her face, he says. Let's see.
Yeah, you're such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Where is she stunned? Where's the stunned look? I'm looking at Joel because Joel's illegally telling me to get out. Springowski's looking. These people are looking. How come they weren't interviewed? Where's all these interviews? How come the mayor? Where's the interview for Don Zaleski? Where's the interview for Carissa Wytock? Mr. Morris, you took the FBI training. You bragged about it. You teach a class at Bowling Green University.
Directed at her, but I could tell that she had this, fear, like what in the world, and kind of was looking around like, is anybody going to stop this type look on her face, and that's what kind of disappointed me was, in myself, for one, that I didn't get there fast enough to diffuse the situation to keep her protected. I don't. People are crazy these days. I don't know what people are going to do, and the way he was aggressively approaching her and talking to her, I didn't know, and I just felt bad for her because of that look that I saw on her face.
The way I was aggressively approaching her and talking to her. Let's go back here again and read Mayor Bradley's statement to Bob Gargis on September the 13th. Bob, I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. My attention was not focused on Mr. Petty, although I do recall him walking behind me. But the main thing is I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. So they didn't even interview the mayor, and they charged me anyhow. Remember, Brianna Dole swore that I intimidated her, which is a felony. Brianna Dole swore that I was menacing her. Brianna Dole swore that I was trespassing, and then she swore that I was aggravated trespassing. She swore this, but she hasn't sworn to her own oath of office, and they don't hold her to it. Tony DiMacchia, you are violating the Ohio Revised Code and the Constitution and your oath by not holding your clerk to the oath of office.
It's not something that you see on somebody's face all the time.
Okay. And it caused you to, obviously you were on the other side of the room, but as you started to work your way over, you mentioned that you tried to get the safety service director, Mr.
What does this mean, work your way over? He said he got up right away when I started in there and grabbed Ray Carrion's arm. There's no video of that, Morris. You watched the video, Morris. You said you were going to give the Mallory Santiago and Judge Elwell the video. I don't think you ever did, Morris. I think you're a liar and a Brady violator. And you should be charged. Morris, Captain Morris, you should be charged. With Brady violation, you perjured yourself.
Ray Carrion, you tried to get his attention and say, hey, get between, what'd you say, like separate them or get between them, or?
I said, get him away from her and get him out of here. And
You told Ray Carrion that. Did Mary Springowski push you aside when she raced over there past Ray Carrion to Brianna and was standing between Brianna and Ray? Remember, that's her testimony. You don't even mention Mary Springowski, Tony. Neither does Dan Nutt. Yet Mary Springowski, in her interview, she makes herself to be the main player. And then her video at the end contradicts everything people say. August 25th. Be ready.
kept repeating, why is he even back here? And I don't think Mr. Carrion realized what was going on at the time because he was engaged in another conversation with his back to the situation. But,
Sure.
Again, I think that, once people started seeing what was...
Let's see what Mr. Carrion does. He likes to mention people's names. Mr. Carrion. Let's see what Mr. Carrion does.
From Mr. DiMacchia. Here's such a...
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Carrion turned around and looked. He didn't pay no attention. So he was looking right at me, Tony. And then he turned away. You said Carrion didn't know what was going on until you told him what was going on, right? Right, DiMacchia?
going on, it drew more attention to it than just myself.
Well, sure, and it takes people time to process these things too. It's not just a matter of hearing it, but also processing it. So,
how do you react to that?
Sure.
If I'm being honest, I didn't even know how to react to it. I'm not going to go put my hands on this guy. You know what I mean? So you're looking for somebody to do something, and there was no police officer.
We're going to back this up here. Tony doesn't want to put his hands on me, but he wants somebody else to. Why? Why, Tony?
There was no auxiliary there.
Let's back this up.
You react to that.
Sure.
If I'm being honest, I didn't even know how to react to it. I mean, I'm not going to go put my hands on this guy. You know what I mean? So you're looking for somebody to do something, you know, and there was no police officer there. There was no auxiliary there.
6th Ward Councilman Antonio Baez is a sworn-in police officer. He was there. He's supposed to, if he sees a crime, he's supposed to report it. So you're saying that you're not recognizing Mr. Baez, Tony? You're not recognizing Baez as a police officer, right? And remember, you said no police officer was there. Yet Baez was there. He's a cop. Or this doesn't fit you and the rest of your conspirator friends over what you've created, the drama and the lies. What is it, Tony? You're going to be asked all these questions, Tony. Come to the deposition sober.
You know, it'd have been a real easy, answer looking at a police officer and say, hey, get this guy. You know what I mean?
Why didn't you turn around and tell Antonio Baez he's a cop? Huh? Why didn't you do that, Tony? Why didn't Mary do that? Why didn't Mary freak out? Why did her dad have to run outside? You had a cop right there. Doesn't matter if he works in a different department. He's a cop.
Yeah. They handled it the right way, but there was none of that. So what do you do? And I think that's where I was stuck. What do you do in this situation?
Now, after the kind of situation subsided, did you end up meeting back up with Mrs. Dahl? Like, I don't know if it was in her office or if it was where she was standing.
I went back to her office, where our council office is as well.
About how long after?
That was maybe a minute to. As soon as I saw that he was out of the area and she had gone to the office, I immediately went back to make sure she was okay. And, obviously I think she was still shocked because she was just, moving back from her desk back to, just trying to organize things to get things together. And I could tell,
No. He asked you about when he went back to her office, Tony. It ain't got nothing to do with where she was moving back from her desk. She wasn't moving. She was sitting there. You should have watched this video yourself to see how stupid you sound.
We worked pretty closely with Bree as a council, and I could tell something wasn't right in that.
Yeah, you worked pretty closely with her. You cover for her not being sworn. You violate the Constitution you swore to. She's supposed to be sworn. You're supposed to protect the Constitution, Tony.
He was really shook by the situation, and that's when Mr. Nutt was in there. I think Miss Moon or Miss Carter was there. And I was just like, wow. And I apologize to Bree for the situation that had transpired, and that's when I told her, I said, Bree, just get your stuff and go home. Councilman Nutt was, I walked her out, and he walked her out the side door.
And again, why did you feel the need to get her out of there? I guess maybe I can ask Councilman Nutt this, and I will. But why did you guys think that it was a good idea to escort her out?
If this guy was comfortable walking back there, getting that close to her, screaming and yelling at her, I don't know what else he would do. You know what I mean? If there was not a barrier, and back by her office, there's no barrier. The door's open. You can come and go as you freely choose. And, again, we didn't want anything else escalating. And that's why we thought it was a good idea to get her out of here. Plus, again, we knew that she obviously had some kind of fear and shock, and it just wasn't a good situation.
Again, what time did you get her out of there, Tony? Remember, I have a rear dash cam video from my truck. Her car was still there when I left. You guys act like you rushed her right out of there 2 seconds after I walked out of the council's well down there. We're going to find out, Tony, August 25th. Get ready.
Sure. At any time where you, did you believe that he may attempt, at least make an attempt to cause her physical harm?
I mean, as angry as he was, that's likely.
What was I angry about, Tony? You're going to have to explain that. You said I was angry. You're going to have to explain angry when you're deposed.
I can't say for certain. I don't know how people are, how they react to certain.
But I was angry as I was, but now you can't say for certain. Remember, your words are recorded, Tony.
He was clearly and visibly beyond extremely agitated.
Let's see. Let's see how agitated I was.
From Mr. DiMacchia.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I want to make this clear. I'm agitated, right? I'm looking at Joel Arredondo. He couldn't answer my question. See, you people never answer the questions. You said I could have complained to this one or I could have complained to that one. You guys don't answer. You're going to be answering in your deposition, Tony. That's why I'm doing you now. You've been off the hook here for 2 years. And remember, your buddy Morris gave us these tapes. Or gave them to Aaron Knapp.
And upset to where, again, I seen his arms flailing around. And
You see my arms flying around? I must have been punching Jack Bradley in the face. Let's see how close I was to Bradley. My arms are filleting,
From
right?
Mr. DiMacchia.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
My arm. Where's my arms filleting? I'm punching Jack Bradley in the face, right, Tony? Jack must have had a bunch of black eyes. You should have helped Jack. According to you, I'm filleting my arms. I had to be punching Jack.
he was yelling at her, and
I guess
it almost looked like his face was beat red, like he was really angry.
Like your face is beat red all the time, Tony? My face ain't beat red. Like yours.
About something. And again, I couldn't make out what he was yelling about, but I could clearly tell that.
Maybe I was talking in tongues, Tony. You don't understand what I'm talking about? It plainly says I want to make something clear. I wanted to get something clarified. I was redressing my government, which you swore to protect me and give me the right to do, Tony. Then you created this other thing along with Springowski and Dan Nutt and Brianna and Joel and Morris. You guys all created this bullshit. Nothing happened. Remember what the mayor said. Let's look at his page again. Let's look and see what the mayor said. From Jack Bradley to Robert Gargis. Bob, I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. So what was I charged with? Intimidation, menacing, 1 count of trespassing, 1 count of aggravated trespassing, disorderly conduct. We got the paperwork, Tony. We got the sworn statement from Brianna. We got it from Ted Kalo. Right? The mayor said I didn't do nothing to be charged. So you people charged me for nothing.
He was extremely agitated about something, and people like that, you don't know what they'll do at that moment.
You're going to explain what people like that means, Tony. People like that what? People that redress their government with questions? Is that the people you're talking about, Tony? Remember, I read what Brennan said, Chief Justice Brennan. You can be critical, and sometimes it's vehement, yelling and screaming back and forth to get something clarified. You swore an oath of your own dumb dreams, Tony DiMacchia. You didn't swear an oath to the Constitution.
We'll put it this way. You decided to leave your computer, you leave your things at your workspace and physically walk over to that area. Why?
Because I wanted to make sure she was safe.
No, you didn't walk over anywhere, Tony. You just made this story up to make it look like I did something, but you didn't realize we had a camera there.
because of the situation. Absolutely.
So, I mean, again, I know that there's no way of telling what he would have done. Obviously we all, that's something that nothing happened. So, but I guess.
That's it right there, Morris. You said it. Nothing happened. Yet you still charged me. There's no telling what Tony would. Tony said he wasn't going to do anything. He wanted somebody else to attack me physically. You guys don't even understand what you've been saying. You didn't tell the judge. I'm sending this to the judge.
When I ask you, were you ever afraid that he would attempt to harm her, or
Yeah.
I don't even know if afraid is the right word, but obviously you walked over there to get between them because you had.
He walked over there to get between us? When?
Vote from Mr. DiMacchia.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Tony said when he started walking over there, I was already working my way out. Dan Nutt said by the time he got around there past Victoria Kempton, I was working my way out. But Tony just said he got between us. See, this is what Lieutenant Morris was supposed to do when he gave his Rule 4 hearing to the judge. He was supposed to analyze all this stuff. Why do I have to do these people's work? I know why. Because the Lorain Police Department lied, and especially Morris. And DiMacchia lied, and Springowski and Mallory Santiago allowed them to lie to the judge.
Had some sort of suspicion or feeling, I assume. I mean, I can't talk for you, but.
Yeah, in that situation, again, when you see somebody that angry, I did have a feeling that, oh my God, what if this guy reaches out and just grabs her?
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that somebody was there to make sure that didn't happen and that the situation diffused and ultimately get him away from her.
Okay. Let's see here. Do you know if she said anything to him during this exchange?
No, I didn't see her say anything. I think
Then there couldn't have been an exchange then, right? If Brianna didn't say anything, how could there be an exchange, Lieutenant Morris? You people are creating lies, Brady violations. You should all resign from the police force and council. Well, we already know Brianna should resign because she's not even a sworn clerk. And you people allowed her to break the law by not being sworn.
again, she just sat there shocked and stunned with fear. Again, I can't speak for her or what she was feeling.
Okay.
I can just speak on what I observed.
You didn't observe her shocked with fear because she never even looked up at me. You're making it up, Tony DiMacchia. And you're going to respond to this. I'm sending this to you today. Today is August the 13th. You're going to get it. You can watch this yourself. Prepare.
Observed and the look on her face was just that, and she didn't say a word. Like,
Okay.
it was.
Now she didn't say a word, so that means there was no exchange. And there couldn't have been any confrontation. You people you can't even get your stories right. You guys made up all this shit to make yourself look like a hero. Tony DiMacchia is a hero to Brianna. I was going to do this, and you never did shit. A cop was right behind you. You didn't even tell him. Mary Springowski said she raced from her seat in high heels to get past Ray Carrion to ask Brianna how she was. Brianna never even says that in her interview that Springowski was there. Dan Nutt said he was over there trying to save Brianna. You're all trying to save Brianna from what? To get the story right so you can lie about me? That's all you're doing. Brianna doesn't remember any threatening words from me. You people are all full of shit. It's going to be fun.
Definitely a shocking situation.
Okay. Let me see here. Do you know Mr. Petty at all? I mean, are you familiar with him at all?
I just know him from coming to council meetings, and he speaks at the hearing of the public, and he's a big critic of all of ours. And hey, listen,
What critical things have I said, Tony? Article 1, Section 3 of the Ohio Constitution says I have a right to instruct my representatives. Instructing you is not being critical. It's telling you to do your fucking job, which you don't do. Remember, you vote against adjourning every meeting. You always vote against it. I'm not critical. I used the Ohio Revised Code and the Ohio Constitution that you swore to get you people to answer me. That's not being critical. That's telling you that you're breaking the fucking law, Tony.
that's his right. He's a resident, and he has the right.
So I have a right to do that, but when I do, you want to create shit that I'm trying to scare somebody or hit somebody. Right, Tony? You don't make sense.
To criticize us because we're elected officials and we represent those people. So
Yeah.
You don't represent me, Tony. You're lying right here about this stuff. I didn't do none of that stuff. The video shows me I didn't do none of the things that you said. Mayor Bradley said he didn't hear or see anything that I should be charged. Yet how come you guys got Morris to charge me? How did you get Brianna to swear that I did intimidate her, which is a felony? How you people do this? And then you allow her to be the clerk and she's not even sworn in. She's breaking the law, Tony, and you're allowing it. You're enabling her to break the law, Tony, because you said she always has your back in your email you wrote. Bree always has her back. Yeah, because you let her be an illegal clerk. That's why she has your back. You're all criminals, I think.
yeah, he does express some frustration with the city, and that's okay. I appreciate and respect that. I've never personally had any issues with him. He is who he is, and he does come to council meetings. And
But you said I was one of those people. What you're gonna have to just tell us what one of those people are, Tony.
that's about the extent of it, though.
So, on that note then, just kind of a final question. Obviously, as American citizens and citizens, we have rights to criticize, not only elected officials, but in some cases, even publicly appointed officials.
We have a right to instruct you people. Ohio Constitution, Article 1, Section 3. We have a right to instruct our representatives. See, the word critical is used by the media because the local media doesn't even know the Constitution itself. They just write stories to make it look on the front page, up front and center. We have a right to instruct you. Tony, start listening to us.
And voice displeasure. I guess the him being behind the line that says no public beyond this point.
Right, no public beyond this point. Council Rule 41 that Tony DiMacchia voted for. Everybody that once the meeting commences, people have to leave that area. Not after the meeting. People are allowed back there during the meeting. You people violate that council rule or that sign, Joel's sign, by having people back there. If nobody's allowed back there, then nobody's allowed back there. But you break your own rules. Remember, Springowski says when they asked her what it said on the plaque that's on the swinging door there, and she said, "City officials beyond this point only, unless they're invited by somebody that's a council person or a member of the government." That's what Springowski swore to. It doesn't say that on that plaque at all. And Council Rule 41 allows people back there after the meeting. You guys are all full of shit. You don't even know your own rules.
Putting that aside, even though that's something that does come into play, putting that aside, was this different to you in any way, or was this in any way different from somebody just simply voicing their displeasure with a public official, clerk of council?
Yeah, the situation.
I'm glad you called a public official, the clerk of council, as a public official. That Morris, you have to remember, she isn't sworn in. She hasn't been sworn into her office. But you swore her to charge me with a felony. She's not even sworn into her office. But you got her to swear to charge me with a felony. What's the matter, Morris? Is it make it happen any way possible? It looks like you did that. You're going to be deposed too, Morris.
And he been behind the wall, just expressing his concerns or his frustrations in a respectable, professional manner, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. And the other part of it is,
if he would have respectfully done that, there's nothing in the Constitution that I have to respect any of you. This is you guys and your feelings, Tony. There's nothing in the Constitution that I have to respect you or ask anybody respectfully anything. You want respect because you don't earn your respect. You lied. You lied through this whole interview, and I pointed it out. You don't need respect, or you don't deserve any respect, Tony.
I would have rather, even if he was that agitated and that aggressive, I would have rather have been towards me or another one of my colleagues, if you will. I wouldn't have taken it any way except for, he's upset. But the fact that it was...
Well, then why did you take it another way then? You people are, you and Springowski and DiMacchia and Joel and Brianna are not taking it the way you say you are. You're creating something that didn't happen, and Morris is leading you on doing it. Right, Morris?
Directed towards our clerk of council and
your illegal clerk of council. Remember, she doesn't have a sworn oath on record, Tony, and she hasn't provided a bond. You people are illegal. Lorraine government, you're illegitimate. You're illegal.
And in the way he did it was what really made the situation what I feel very unfortunate and escalated to a point that we're even having this conversation. But listen, I'm all for criticism. That's what makes us better as public officials. So, yeah, be frustrated. I'll even take you yelling at me. But, it was done in a way that should have never happened. And, it was different for sure.
It was done in a way that never should have happened. What way was that, Tony? Let's remember here, we got the mayor's statement here. Bob, I do not recall hearing or seeing anything that resulted in Mr. Petty being charged. If the mayor was right there and he didn't see or hear anything for me to be charged, why did you allow me to be charged, Tony? Why did Morris charge me? Why did Brianna charge me? Why wasn't the mayor interviewed, Tony? Because you don't like Mayor Bradley? We know Springowski doesn't like him. He was the one that told the truth.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to add to this? I'm going to pretty much close out the interview unless you have something that you kind of want to put on the record.
No, I'm good. Just a very unfortunate situation that should have never, ever happened.
Agreed.
In other words, after you're saying that we're allowed to ask questions and redress our government, you're saying it never should have happened, right? So right there, your last statement is you're denying me my constitutional right to redress my government. It never should have happened. Your words, Tony.
Alrighty, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end the interview then at 3:11 p.m. And that will be all.
And then I think it was about 20 minutes later, they filed charges on me. And then they turned around and they didn't interview Nutt or Joel until July the 3rd, after the charges were already filed. And I'm still waiting for Joel's email from the chief of police. We're going to get you, Joel. We're going to sue you. That's it for today, August the 13th, 8:21 a.m.